Hello, good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Stateside Blues, care of the Mancunian Way. I'm your host, Pat, filling in for Martin this week while he is still just out for the week. Just change things a little bit up here. I'm joined by some wonderful panelists, all have their own contributions, obviously, today. Rajak, Kelkster, Ed, and Tariq, you all know them well. We're all going to have our says as to what happened today. And I'm certainly looking at the chat, and everybody's had their own opinions, and we're going to dissect everything that happened today. But first things first, how is everybody doing? I hope you're all doing well on that side of the world.
Yeah, wish we won today, but doing okay personally, I guess. Happy to be here. Happy to speak about the game and get our feelings out.
Yes, I feel like we're going to be opening up a big can of worms today. For those who didn't see, Manchester City dropped points in the Premier League to Nottingham Forest, a very plucky Nottingham Forest, I'm going to actually admit. But first things first, I think we're going to have to probably go through and just see what everybody's opinions are in the chat. Adam Quinn, for example, he is not a very happy man at the moment. Should have had 3 pens. This is something we'll probably discuss later because there is probably a shout for at least one, from my opinion, but we'll just wait and see what happens anyway. He already wants Vinny in. I said in the group chat there was a chance there was going to be some pep outers already this evening, mate. But look, Adam, I know you're feeling emotional, mate, but look, if this is a chance for you to just vent and just, clear your mind of bad thoughts, then please come and see us anyway. But look, guys, I won't.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Look, I'm going to get stuck into it anyway, guys. As we said, Manchester City 2, Nottingham Forest 2. For today's, this evening's lineup, we had Donnarumma in goals, defense of Mateus Nunes, Ruben Diaz, Mark Gahey, Ryan Oitnori, Rodri in the midfield alongside Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, Ryan Cherky, and then we had Antoine Semenyo and Erling Haaland up the top. Might go round table and just have a little bit of a chat with you guys. What were your thoughts of the lineup when you first saw it?
No, I thought, it's basically just the front line that was changed up. And then midfield is because of O'Reilly being out, of course, with his injury from a couple of days ago. I think people thought Marmoush would probably be out this game just because of the last 2 games he's played. And then he put Cherky, of course, and then he put Foden in the midfield. I wasn't that stressed about it. I knew we were probably going to have the ball a lot in this game in dangerous areas. So putting on 2 of our attacking midfielders, I thought was a good move and showed that we were trying to be aggressive and go for it, and especially when we were playing at home, right? So I had no issues with the lineup.
I would agree. I had no issues with the lineup. I thought it was fine. I thought maybe Tijani Reinders would be in just because when O'Reilly went out, he's the one that came in against Leeds, and I thought he was all right in that game. So I didn't really see Foden starting. He's not been in great form, and we can talk about Foden, I'm sure, tonight. I didn't think he would start. He did. I didn't mind it though. Like Foden or Reinders, I thought fine, whatever. And then I also thought maybe Marmoush, but we went with Cherokee instead, and that's fine with me as well. Like we have a good 15 to 17 players I feel like we can typically rely on. So I'm not going to sit here and say the lineup was bad. Like the defense was as expected, and the majority of the players I think are the best 11 that we've got.
Yeah, for me, I think I've been on enough streams with Kels or listened to her enough that I was like, oh, Kels gets, she gets her Phil Foden start. Because I know she's been advocating for Phil to get some game time. So I was like, oh, okay, we'll see what happens. Again, the rest of it was pretty much chalk, in my opinion, with the exception of, like you said, Nico O'Reilly, who we knew was going to be out. So there was going to be a change. But it felt like we've been running out the same lineup over and over and over. So the small change of, okay, well, we'll bring in Sharky for Marmoush, bring in Phil for Nico O'Reilly. That's basically what it was. Those are really minor changes. So in the grand scheme of things, I was just like, all right, it's business as usual. Let's go get it.
Anybody look at absentees or those who weren't quite ready to start? Maybe could have changed a little bit of the dynamic of the game. I look at the way we started that game, and I thought we certainly seemed to be a bit slow in the tempo. Build-up was a bit slow, but then also, too, I do give a little bit of credit to Forest because I felt like they played a bit narrow. Did cut off a lot of channels, especially centrally as well, too. Do you feel like maybe a healthy Nico O'Reilly may have been able to offer a bit more of a dynamic in midfield, and maybe giving us a bit more of an attacking advantage, basically?
I don't even think it's that for me. It's very clear they had a very physical midfield, and it became really apparent to me in the second half. We needed a bigger body in there, and I think they just waited for us to get tired, and we did, and that's when they pounced, and we couldn't hold a lead. Maybe Nico O'Reilly helps with that because, like, Morgan Gibbs-White, very physical player. Elliot Anderson, very physical player, and once we got tired, they were able to bully us, and we dropped points. And that's not the first time it's happened. Like I said, it also happened the Chelsea game. If you remember that one a couple weeks ago, they brought more physicality into the midfield, and we couldn't handle it. So that has kind of happened a few times. But we had options, but we just didn't use them off the bench. So
I want to get onto the goal.
I feel like that's sorry. I was just saying, I just feel like that's the, when Ryjack was working as a coach in basketball, I'm sure he had scouting reports. He had to work with his players to say, you're guarding this player. This is what we say. This is what we know about that player. We expect them to go. We want you to push them left. We want you to push them right. We want you to make sure you close out on that three because they're good shooters, whatever, right? There's plenty of scouting that you do to know what to expect. The scouting report for Man City is bully them in midfield, bully them across the pitch, and they'll capitulate. That's the scouting report. And teams, every team from top to bottom, but particularly those at the bottom of the table, because they don't have as much skill, and no disrespect to Forest, but they have to win games with physicality and emotion and just grit and desire. So yeah, that's gonna happen every game. So you said it happened in the Chelsea game. I would guarantee you that it happened in probably 75% of our games.
Game at home, the Brighton game at home.
It probably happens in 75% of our games because it's an obvious thing. If you're going against them, bully them, because again, we're technical, we're somewhat finesse. So go beat them up and see if they're going to take it or if they're going to, lay down for you. That's the scouting report.
Also, to echo on that, like I've had some discussion on some of my watch alongs about and some of my panels about technicality versus physicality and how technicality typically wins out. I think we're starting to see in real time that maybe our technical levels just aren't what we thought they were. Because before, this never used to be an issue. Like you watch PSG, they're not physical midfield, but they're at the top of their game elite technically. And so they have been able to out-bully or out-tech the more physical midfields they face. And they rode that to a treble last season. I think it's just clear that our and we used to do that in the past as well. Like, Gundogan and, Bernardo, when they played together for years and years, they were never the most physical guys, but they were elite technically back in those days. And we were able to get around that issue. And I just think this year we're just not like our technical levels have fallen just enough. And the league's physical levels has risen just enough that we're struggling. And, Nico O'Reilly has been a solution to that. He wasn't available tonight, but we did have Nico Gonzalez. He could have come on late in the game in the second half. I'm not saying start him, but he could have come on late in the game. Again, this is a very hindsight thing for me to say, but
that's what I
think we've seen it in other games too, where we have gassed out. Some of these players have just run out of gas in the games, and maybe a sub would have helped.
I just don't.
I was going to say to Pat when he. I was going to say to Pat when he was saying, could Nico O'Reilly have helped with this? And I just was wondering, or sure, I'm maybe, but what part of his game is it that would have helped? Is it just his pure stature? He's 6'4", he's technical, he's got a lot of attributes, and I'm sure there was one or multiple that you're like, oh, this would have been helpful had we had that. Because to her point, we do have a Nico G on the bench. He's not a like for like. There's not a 1-for-1 match. There probably is no one like that. But does he, whichever attributes you're looking for, could he have provided something like that? Don't know.
Yeah, even if it's only for 20 minutes at the end of the game. Like I'm not even saying start him, but like, could he have come on late in the game when we were starting to tire out? Maybe. But I don't think Kovacic whenever he's back, is that a role he could do?
I don't think we're outmatched physically though. I don't think they were winning more second ball than us. I thought in the first half we suffocated them for the majority part. I think in the second half, I think they scored in more transition phases. That when we were set on defensively, I think there's moments where we might have lost the ball and they broke on us. I think that's the chance that, all their goals came on. Well, the first one came with a 1-for-1 in a transition. With Mori, he crosses the ball over. They get the ball back and they put it inside the box. I think it had to do more with this lack of concentration. I'm looking at Morgan Gibbs White split our center backs there and get in between and get a back heel in. I'm looking at Phil Foden not staying with his man after Anderson gives up the ball. I don't think it was really they were out physically us because I thought we had a majority of the ball. It was just a couple of moments on a transition break and lack of concentration.
So on that, we won 46 duels. They only won 41. So maybe dual winning is not exactly who was the more physical team, but we did win more of the duels than they did. And Ed makes a good point. They had 2 opportunities really the whole game. They both go in. I felt like we had many opportunities to score that just finishing wasn't quite there, which is a major concern for me. Just the lack of players who have shooting boots, have the ability to score goals. Cherokee made that very silky move and then skies it over. Semenyo's free kick was, obviously going to be really difficult, but that's close. Semenyo's fizzed ball across goal. 2 guys could have tapped it in. It's in any one of those go in and probably win the game.
Even the last play of the game.
Luke makes a good point here. They said tonight was coming, sadly. You can't keep going 1 goal up and try to see it out. At some point, we have to take the initiative and win the match before we throw it away. We're lacking goals.
Yeah,
he makes a good point there because I'm going to be honest with you. I think when we went 1-0 up, there was a good opportunity there to make it 2 because they were a bit on the back foot for us and we didn't quite take the ascendancy, to be honest. And, I'm getting to a point where I'm a little bit sick of the fact that we just rest on our laurels when we go 1-0 up and instead of trying to take the game by the jugular, because this is what happens anyway. Teams get back. Time allows teams to get back into it and they still go and score anyway. I figured if you're worried about scoring and then getting on the break, why not just keep going for it anyway? Because there's a chance of them scoring regardless. And I'm just very, very disappointed at the fact that if you go back and look that that time from when we scored the first goal to the end of the first half, there was some opportunities there, and I'm really disappointed that we didn't take advantage of those, to be honest.
Yeah. Haaland has been very disappointing for a couple of weeks now, I think. I mean, outside of that Anfield game, he hasn't really, since the calendar year kind of started, he just doesn't have his shooting boots on. And he should have scored a couple today. And that's becoming a problem kind of in some of these games. Like, I think he's got to do better. He had chances created for him today. He just didn't convert. And that is getting frustrating.
Yeah, I mean,
even Nunez's comment to Ed's point, Nunez had the quote after the game. He said, "We have to be more focused, especially when we are winning, because we have to control the game and not relax." I think we relaxed a little bit after we scored, which is like
we weren't concentrating enough. It's 2 moments that poor concentrations, you get hurt in the Premier League. We don't take our chances. I thought, we had tons of chances.
Yeah, Anderson was definitely
tons of moments to win this game. And when you allow a team to stay in the game, we said this numerous of times. That I think this has not just been the first night we said this. I think this is something that's played us all season. If you looked at where we dropped points at, I can say numerous times we created a lot. We could have actually, if we took our chances, we win those games. I think that's 70-80% of the games we drop points in. So
yeah, we say that a lot.
Yeah, it's been a season-long thing. And
that's why I think it's a personnel thing. Like you have players in the squad who just are not fantastic in terms of getting you goals. Like you go down the list.
Go back a few years ago, right, Jack? That's the sort of game where like a Gundogan or De Bruyne would have taken the game by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah, or Mahrez, you had dudes who were ability to go get you a goal out of nothing, and like you just. Unfortunately, we have players who are good. We have good players all over the place, but that final, most difficult thing in the game, they just are not fantastic at. Like Doku's not getting you a goal, Savinho's not getting you a goal, Bernardo's not getting you a goal.
Had such a good chance.
Like, unless it's Haaland, Semenyo, or Marmoush, who wasn't even playing today, it's difficult to get goals. You'd hope it's Foden, but he hasn't really had those shooting boots on lately as well. So like. It's difficult.
Yeah, and Haaland had to carry us for most of the season, so maybe it's just too much. And I think Semenyo has taken the burden off of him, but we got to get some other players to step up, and nobody seems to want to.
It can't be one or the other. It needs to be both. We need Haaland and Semenyo, not or Semenyo scoring. We need both of them to score, and right now. We get one or the other, and that's it. And that's unfortunate. We needed a second option, and we just said, it's frustrating.
Yeah. And also, one thing I think I've...
1 second, Kel. Sorry, just a super chat here from Ethan with the £5. Big up. Thanks again, mate. And for those who weren't aware, it was Ethan's birthday during the week too, so send him a happy birthdays in the chat as well. So, don't stop believing. Foden scoring a hattie this season. Keep the faith and don't give in. And people who say sell him are mad. Yep, I agree with you, mate. Yep, absolutely.
But I understand why some people talk about Reinders, but I think we've seen this season that Reinders is more in open play and with a camped out box. I don't think he's been that good for us this season. So I understand why maybe Pep went a different direction. I know people are thinking about Reinders maybe finishing ability, but against low blocks, he doesn't really offer that much creativity wise.
Fair.
Yeah, I think I might have the stat incorrect, but I was saying this on my watch along. I believe in the Premier League only, we've had one goal period from a second half substitution the whole season, and it was Ryan Cherky game week 1 against Wolves. I don't think we've had a single goal from a bench player, somebody coming off the bench subbing into a game in the second half this entire season. That's a concerning statistic if it's true. Again, it could be wrong, but I think I've read that somewhere. And if that is true, that is alarming.
Mm-hmm. Peaches has said here he's glad the Doku didn't start. Some reason he's unreal against us. Yeah, look, I think having the benefit of Doku maybe not quite at match fitness, but yeah, I think having him start may have just been a little bit, it would have changed the dynamic of the game a little bit. And I mean, he tried coming off the bench, but yeah, I think you just had that benefit of him still coming back from injury. So yeah, I think him starting may have changed things a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to rush him back because he's proving to be pretty injury prone. So I'd prefer to just give him the time.
And he came back and then immediately got like laid out. I forget who it was. And he kind of took a minute to kind of get his breath and collect himself before he fully got up. So it's like, I understand we're desperate. So we're throwing on, the kitchen sink, but let the man be healthy.
Yeah, his injury record is starting to concern me.
I know people in the chat are talking about Donnarumma. Did you guys fault Donnarumma for any of the 2 goals?
No.
Hell no.
I think it's harsh to say. Like,
yeah,
the back heel is what, 5 yards away from him. It goes between Diaz's legs. Like, I don't think he can see it. And then the worldie from outside the box.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's
there
massive,
was no
mammoth
defender
of a
anywhere
man.
close to him on that one either.
Yeah, and he's at full
I mean,
stretch.
Anderson was given so much space on that ball too. Like,
yeah.
I'm really surprised there was no one there to shut him down because he had all the
us.
time in the world to set himself up for that shot. Curl around Gahey, blindsided Donnarumma. Absolutely no. Donnarumma can't touch that. No keeper touches that.
Oh, I was told Courtois would have saved it, but I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
No, well, we'll have to deal more of his bullshit saves in next week anyway. So
I was gonna say, let's not bring him
should
up.
Courtois
We'll mention him when we have to.
Yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
We scored 2 against him. How did we beat him?
Yeah,
this sucks, these type of games, because there's a lot of good moments you would love to talk about, but it's just 2 moments that just hurt you, because there's actually a lot of good moments in the game. I thought retention, I thought we were actually aggressive for the full 90, not the full 90, but you're gonna have some moments where they're just gonna pass it around, but I thought we were on top of it, and we pinned it back a lot. It's just that, to what you're talking about, Pat, we go 2-1 up, and we just start passing around the back.
Yeah.
And I get it. Maybe trying
hindsight's
to
a wonderful thing, but like if you knew
out,
what was
right?
going to happen,
to
you might as well just keep going for it. Yeah.
Is that part of the problem? Is that we have a mixture of like half of our team is new and have never played that way. The other half of our team has been here forever. They've played much more possession based, and that's what they're used to. So when you kind of have half the team trying to just keep the ball, hold it, and thinking that we can still do that. The other half, I don't even know how to do that. Just give me the ball. Let's go get another goal. That just the different philosophies that players are used to playing in. Of course, they've been here for the better part of a year at this point. You would think that, and they've been in training, so whatever, but it's just a question, because we don't have the same team that we had before. We talked about the technicality versus the physicality, and we don't have the same technicality. We don't have a David Silva. We don't have even a KDB. We don't have those players that have played that way and have that mindset, which is why I think sometimes it's frustrating, because we can be on an attack and then a Phil or a Bernardo will hold the ball up because that's what we've always done, where other players are like, let's go. And it just feels disjointed to a certain extent. But maybe that's, fair if it's just me.
It happened multiple times tonight for sure. I know exactly. Haaland is on the break at one point, turns it around. Phil's carrying the ball from the midfield and then just stops,
because
turns it around.
For a lot of those players, it was possession is the most important thing in the world. Just hold the ball, keep possession, don't lose possession. But then you also then are afraid to go at a player because I don't want to lose possession. So then when you pull the ball back, which is what we used to kill Jack Grealish for, well, yeah, because possession is the most important thing. Keeping the ball is the most important thing. So sometimes you're going to play a little bit less aggressive and a little bit less whatever. So I don't know. It just feels like we need to figure out who we are. We can't be double-minded about what team we're going to be. And I feel like we are to a certain extent right now.
It's also weird because we're behind in goal difference. Like, we need to make up the goal difference. If we're going to be in a title race, the goal difference is a point. I mean,
it is, yeah.
We're 5 back now. So you would think at home against a relegation fighting team, you try to pile it on a bit and get some GD back, but
well, I think some of that is like we were better, and I think we were a good team in the first half. We created chances, we didn't convert them, but that doesn't mean you stop playing. And I feel like in the second half we just kind of stopped, and that is something that's been happening.
It worked against Leeds. It worked against Newcastle, Kel. I think sooner or later it was going to rear its ugly head, and unfortunately it did it. It did it in really, I'm not going to say poor or unfortunate circumstances, because you can't take anything away from Forest. The 2 goals that they took were exceptional, and we weren't able to capitalize the opportunities that were given to us. And we can act surprised, or you can even talk down Forest in terms of their league position if you wanted to. But we've known from history that the toughest games for us on the run in for the last, say, third of a season have always been against relegation threatened teams. They never make it easier. They always take opportunities when they're given to. Usually, most times they take opportunities when they're given to them, and we just weren't clinical enough, and we weren't willing to put our boots on their necks basically, and absolutely just end it. The team's in a position right now where we can't suck the life out of them like we did from the last 2, 3, 4 years. Basically, we don't do that anymore. We're a team that should be playing on the front foot, should be playing a lot more energetic. For years people were asking for the basketball sort of football, and now we're kind of torn between, like, do we go for it? But then also, do we have terrible PTSD from last season in terms of how open we were on breaks and things like that? So it's a thing where you can spend the last few weeks saying the defense was so good, but the defense can only get you so far. And sooner or later, there are going to be leaks, there are going to be holes, and sometimes you fall victim to moments of brilliance. And if you can't capitalize on those, then unfortunately you're going to be in positions where you are going to drop points from favorable positions. Look at was it Davey Mack who just said before? See, we've had 13 points drop from winning positions this season. We've talked before about Arsenal. Saying that that there was that period there after the Wolves away game that they dropped 17 of 27 points over a 9-game period. Well, to say basically that this league has been, there's been everybody has weaknesses and significant weaknesses, and maybe in a way you could probably see it coming. I think the problem is we're just looking at the opposition and getting too worked up about it. But I don't know. I'm looking forward. I think the fact that we're going to play 2 different competitions now before we play Premier League again, maybe a bit of a blessing in disguise. So I hope, the lads will probably walk off with a tail between their legs, and, hopefully this will give them the pep, sort of the pep talk, no pun intended, that basically, the pep in their step that they need for the remainder of the season.
Yeah. But the counter to that is we could be out of 3 competitions really quickly if we don't kind of pull it together. We're talking, the next 2 weeks, if we don't start to play better and we don't start to get results, we could be out of every competition with the exception of the league. Now, again, we still have a second leg against Real Madrid, but if that first leg goes too much the wrong way, that second leg may be moot. So we have to get better. That's just reality. We have to get better collectively as a team.
Yeah, and we have to use our squad too, because some of these players have played a lot of minutes, and you could start to see the fatigue setting in. And it would be, you have players, use them. Even that just means 15, 20 minutes at the end of the game. Sometimes that can be enough rest.
I don't know. Everybody seems a bit Debbie Downer at the moment, don't they?
No, I think we'll rotate for the FA Cup, just because it's before Real Madrid. So that'll give some players some run out.
Do you want to talk about the goals, by the way, too? Because I thought not only was it a great chance and good setup from Turkey, a good ball from Turkey to set up Semenyo, but I've also got to give credit a little bit to Haaland as well too, because he kept a lot of that defensive line in front of Semenyo well occupied, so that when the ball came in, he just had an easy. And to be honest, it wasn't really the easiest chance to convert either. It's waist high, coming at you from an offside angle as well too. So As I said, I thought the build-up leading up to that goal was a bit sort of not anticlimactic, but it was a bit slow in the way that we did things. But yeah, if you go back and have a look, actually, credit Haaland because he keeps a lot of that defense in front of Semenyo quite occupied, and it does make Antoine's job a lot easier in terms of converting that chance.
No, yeah, I thought Turkey. I mean, this is what Turkey can give you, right? I thought his lead up to the goal was really good. I thought, his vision was really good for the goal. And this is what we brought Semenyo in for. This is, what we saw at Bournemouth. And he just carrying his form over to City. And we needed that guy in the box who can finish other than Haaland at times. And he's been that for us. And you got to, I thought overall he had a good game today, Semenyo too. I thought he was good defensively at times when he had to track back and stuff like that. So I thought this was the free kick as well. So I thought this was a good game. Turkey had I think, all right game. I thought, his passing to Haaland. I don't know if we want to get into those two decisions, but I thought, we had some. I thought he did a pretty good job today.
Well, Jack, Tariq, any thoughts on?
Yeah, well, on the goal, Semenyo's he's just everywhere. Like this is what we bought him for. And I know people say sometimes he doesn't affect games, but we kind of have that with Haaland as well. Semenyo just scoring seemingly every game. It's like 7 in 10 or something. I don't know what it is. It's a very good goal record. And it's just, it shows that positioning is a skill that maybe some players don't particularly have in the squad, and he does, which is why he's getting minutes, why he's playing. So it's a great signing. I love Semenyo. I'm very, very happy with Semenyo. So
the thing that for Semenyo, it was the free kick that just went over, and actually the keeper knocked it over. Maybe would have hit the bar, maybe would have snuck under, I don't know. But he's lined up there with Bernardo, and I just assume Bernardo's going to take it. And he put a really good ball in. And again, we're looking for all the advantages we can find. We need people that can put free kicks in. We can, get shots on target. So yeah, I good for him. He got the goal. He typically does. He happens to be in the right place, or he knows how to be in the right place. I don't know, and this is what I don't know because I haven't looked at the stats. How many games have we played since we bought him where both him and Haaland have scored in the same game? I can't think of any, to be honest with you.
It's either one or the other.
Yeah. And so I'm wondering if there's a little bit of we're in each other's way because when at first, Pep was always playing him out really, really wide. And then he started bringing him in very narrow. And so now with him being as narrow as he is, I'm just wondering if they're in each other's way. And that's why it's a one or the other. And right now it just happens to be Semenyo consistently and Haaland's not getting anything. But what changed? And I don't know the answer to that question.
Haaland didn't really get free much. I think he was just occupying the center backs today because that is a very underrated center back duo, Milenkovic and Murillo.
Yeah, Murillo will probably go.
I get frustrated when Haaland it has games like that against poor center backs, like against Brighton. I'm like, come on, Verbruggen or whatever his name is, or that one center back, whatever his name is, the guy I don't rate.
So disrespectful.
Against center backs I don't rate. That's when I get frustrated. But Haaland being poor against these two, yeah, he was poor. I think he has to do better. But I do think that those two center backs that they have, Milenkovic, and even if he is kind of a
Tariq, were you surprised? Were you surprised not seeing Haaland trying to take more opportunities just to drop back and just sometimes be that extra body in the midfield?
No, when he did it a couple games ago, Pep was kind of like, I don't want to see it. He's that in the defending that he was doing. He's like, I don't really want to see that. So I guess, can he? Yes. Is that the strength of his game? No. You're probably better having Semenyo drop deep and come get the ball and find it and find ways to do something with it than you are
Is
with
that
having
his
Haaland
game,
do that. I don't know that it's his game necessarily, but he's probably better on the ball than Haaland is, just by just being there in those spaces more often. So was I surprised? No, not at all. And quite honestly, I think Haaland is the world's best putting the ball in the back of the net. Now, we haven't seen it in a while, and so at times you kind of forget that. But no, I want him at the top of the pitch, leading the charge, being that tip of the spear, so we can get him the ball and go get goals. Stay up there. He's not Harry Kane. He's not Harry Kane
since January as well.
Yeah,
which is surprising. And they did both score in the Fulham game. I just checked.
Did they?
Oh, that's it.
Prove me wrong.
But,
I didn't know.
Told you I didn't know. I didn't look it up. So
Wait, Fulham at what game?
The Fulham. Let me see. The Fulham game they both scored.
Oh, okay.
February 11th.
Oh, because he got a penalty, didn't he?
Yeah.
Haaland got the penalty at the end. That's how he got. Yeah. That makes sense.
Interesting.
Stats still good. Well, they have
Technically, my statement is incorrect.
Yeah.
Wait, are Haaland's last 2 goals penalties?
Probably, I think. Fulham
he had the pen at Anfield and then the pen at Fulham. Did he score a goal in between? Because I feel like he has not scored a lot of goals.
According to some people, he could have had a hat-trick of penalties today. So,
well, I don't know about him. We could have had a hat. Oh, yeah, because he would have taken them. Yeah,
he would have taken them. Yeah,
you're right.
There's no way though that we deserve.
I don't think it's 3
penalties. I don't know if we want to go there, but
I think we deserve one.
Definitely.
We deserve one, and it would have been iffy on the second.
Yeah,
I think the Stells one was a pen, but I don't.
Yeah.
Again, I just don't think we're going to get those calls. I think the fact that we've been mouthing off about the refs,
yeah,
we did again today. So I'm like, I think we're just not going to get those. I think they're going to take that personally and be like, well.
Did anybody see any similarities between the Stells contact on Haaland to when Alisson made contact with Mateus Nunes?
100%. It's the same. It's the same thing. I said that in my reaction TikTok that I did. It's literally the same thing. Which is why I expected it to be a penalty.
Which is why I'm going to the thing where it's like I've seen worse contact than that not given.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one to think of. And to be honest, when you kind of look at Haaland's right leg, which is his trail leg, it does seem to drop his center of gravity a bit low when he knows the contact's about to be made with Stells. So I don't know. I'm not saying that it's not a penalty, but I'm just saying we've seen worse than that not given, and we've seen weaker than that given. So it's a tough one to call.
Part of it as well is like,
if that'd be the Champions League, I think it's given because the Champions League has better refs.
Oh, here he is.
I think it's odd that like part of me is like Haaland is taking that ball, and even if he rounds Stells, the ball goes out of play. So like I don't think ideally that should be a penalty because Haaland should have to like control the ball, but that's not a rule. Like it's not a rule. So he rounded Stells, and I feel like he's taken out by Stells, therefore penalty, regardless of if the ball he's not going to be able to get to the ball. Which is the same thing with Nunes. I don't think Nunes was going to control the ball either against Alisson, and he gets taken out penalty. So
exactly.
The penalty rules are bad.
Given in Anfield because they usually
I would like way less penalties given because I think like a foul given to award a penalty kick certain times is just so over the top for the actual foul committed at times, but that's like a separate issue. I have so many problems with rules in this sport. I would change so many rules, but people don't like change.
No, we don't.
All right. Well, you see what happens when Martin doesn't attend home games.
Plastic fan.
So we blame him for going and then not going. Is that what happens?
How the fuck is it my fault?
Hey.
How are you, mate?
In a lot of pain.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Shit happens. It's what happens when you get your head sawn into. Hey, never mind. They found the brain. Breaking news. I do have a brain. They found it. I should laugh, it hurts. No, I'm only joining for 20 minutes. My meds got me wide awake. Now, okay, first of all, big thank you to everyone for all the messages. If anyone doesn't know, I had an operation just to deal with some complications that I had a few months back. It's started now. So yeah, I might be less emotional moving forward. Oh, that's a good thing and a bad thing after start. Listen, you can't have 21 chances in a game and not win. I don't. The thing that's annoying me is we're having all these chances and the opponents are scoring worldies. I don't mind if they scored a goal that was a bit jammy or something. They scored in worldies and I've had enough of it. I'm just sick of it. There's a number of things I don't understand. I don't get this Phil Foden new role. I don't like it. I think we're wasting him. It's causing eruptions everywhere. Everyone's saying shit, and I get it. It's their opinion. I'm not going to argue with it. You pay your money, you're entitled to your opinion. But at some points in that game, Phil Foden's deeper than Bernardo and Rodra.
Yep.
I'm like, what the hell is going on? Have we just gone ass backwards? Have we gone too much into the physicality thing now? Have we gone from A to Z? Are we not able to find a nice balance between football and physicality? I just feel as though we've gone completely the other way into a battle. And I don't know whether it's good or it's bad anymore, because we all said we wanted physicality in the midfield, we wanted us to boss it. But we're not really doing... If you look at the first goal, that's football. The way we opened them up, it was wonderful to see, but that was minimal tonight. We're getting caught up in fights all the time. Leeds United was a fight. I'm sick to death for fights. Is this the Premier League or UFC? Seriously, I need to know.
Grudge matches, war of attritions and stuff like that. Yeah,
I don't.
That's just the reality of what the Premier League has become. Every team has that, though. Like Bournemouth have a physical midfield. Leeds United, like all these little teams have physical midfielders. There's very few that don't.
Can we say
if we don't adapt to it, we're gonna struggle. Like that's just the harsh reality of what the league has become. If you want more technicality, you're gonna have to go to Ligue 1.
But then we're going to lose
fans calling us spotlights. The hypocrisy.
We're going to lose these technical players then, because they're not going to. Phil Foden's not a battler. Cherky's not a battler. I never saw KDB and David Silva getting dragged into number 8 roles and doing. I didn't see any of that. I don't understand. It baffles me a little bit. And then. I don't know, and then the subs were a bit baffling. He sort of, I don't know, it just, do I think we were bad tonight? No. Don't think we were bad. You don't create 21 chances by playing bad. And some of them were gilt-edged chances as well, but I don't know. I still don't think it's over. Call me delusional, call me whatever you want. It's not over. I still think there's twists and turns in this. Mm-hmm. There's 9 games, 10 games to go for us, 9 games, whatever it is. We just have to just see what happens. But now, every game is a must-win now. We are now in a must-win situation. We've got to win all 9. Whether we can do it, that's up to them. That's up to them now.
Yeah. We need to go on a run now, Martin. We need to go on a run.
We'll just we better get back on the run. We've just kind of had. We've just won like.
I mean, get on a run, but not a run of like where we're just doing this war of attrition, just trying to defend for 60 minutes. We're actually. I think we need to start having having a go. Like, 1-0, great. Now let's assert the ascent. Let's take the ascendancy and try and make it 2-0. Absolutely kill the game off before teams even have a chance to even build something against us, basically.
Well, I think that's part of where this midfield is the newer midfield we've been playing is I think in some games, like the away games, I think we're just not creating as many chances. I know today was a different story, but maybe you do need a creator more in the team in that midfield. Like maybe you need 2 physical players and 1 creator, and I don't think we really have that right now. And maybe we'll have to do that against West Ham because that's another physical team waiting for us. Again, like I said, every team just has this. And
hello, everyone.
Right?
Yeah, what are you doing, man? Anyway,
that's funny.
Just that little break and play.
Hey, but you know what? Hey, we should be celebrating Ryjack.
Sorry, just quick question.
Thank you.
Just got a £10 super chat again from Ethan. Big up, mate. Thank you. Get well soon, Martin. Safe recovery. Go treat yourself to a brew.
Big up, Ethan. Thank you, mate.
Big up. Sorry, Tariq, you were saying, mate?
No. You had Ryjack on the full screen, and I was just like, hey, we should celebrate my brother because he I know this is we're on Martin's channel, Mancunian Way, but you know his channel just hit first stage, at least first stage, if not full stage of being monetized. So his channel is growing a lot, and that's a big thing.
That's
so
why I was
just
Tariq. Why I was doing it, I was prompting you to go into giving Ryjack.
Gotta give him his props. And so everybody else that's not already subscribed, you probably are, but if not, go ahead and hook them up.
Do you know what I'm worried about? I said this earlier on. I do worry. If people want, it's their opinion, I get it. But if we're going to sell Foden, and Rodri's going to go, and Bernardo's going to go, I'm sorry, that's knocking our rebuild back 5 years. 5 years, because that's like Arsenal selling Declan Rice, Zubimendi, and a Saka or someone out the door. It would move them back. I think we've got to be careful in what we're asking for. We've got to be very careful what we're doing here because I don't know what the plan is moving forward in this midfield. Because Nico J, he's not fancy. You can tell he's not anymore. That's what, 4th game running, 0.
Yeah, he could have helped out today at the end of the game.
Mamouche, I'm sorry, he's not exactly ripping trees up at the moment when he plays. I've been bought badly, we misprofiled, I don't know. Reinders, again, not on the... I don't know. I think we're caught in between this. Are we going full physicality? Are we trying to get about? I don't know. I'm stuck, and I think we've got to be very careful where we're going to go in the summer because if people want to sell the amount people want to do, then this is where I do worry we end up in a United situation. We're going to end up 5 years behind the 8 ball here.
Yeah. And a lot of those names you named, we paid a lot of money for. So, that is a little concerning because we paid and getting that money back.
I'll ask this to the panel. If we go for what fans are asking for and what we obviously what we hear, so Rodri could go. Bernardo's on a free at the moment. Apparently, there's rumours of Nico J and people want to sell Foden. Can we afford just 4 players like that to up sticks and go?
No.
I mean, I can answer. I think anybody can leave, and I'm fine as if they're not happy to be here and eras come to an end. But I don't want the City winning and competing for things to end. I don't think the club will accept a transitional period. Like if we're supposed to be in this transitional period currently, and we're gonna have 6, 7, 8 players leave in the summer, what is next year gonna be? So.
Hey, Pep, hold that.
I don't buy.
And then Pep leaves the year after too. So
yeah, I mean, it's just this is the way it is. And I think you got to figure out Hugo Viana. You got to step up big time and figure out who you want to buy, who you want to sell, and it's on him to find the right manager if Pep decides to leave. And I refuse to accept that we're just we just got to keep these players for as long as we can. I don't accept that. I think if Rodri wants to go, no problem. He's out. Bernardo doesn't want to re-sign, no problem. See ya. And whether or not that's the right decision, hindsight will tell me. But I feel like Hugo Viana at Manchester City can buy a player to replace these players in the role that they're doing. Not specifically like you're not replacing Rodri, he's a Ballon d'Or winner. I get it. You're not replacing KDB, but like someone's got to play. So I'm fine. I don't care if people leave. Like, but that's me. People probably don't agree with that.
I think there's some sentimental, tie that we have to players that have been here for a while. But at the end of the day, we are all, at least I believe we are all, it's about the club, right? It's club FC, not player FC. So if Rodri wants to go, hey, it's been great. We've had a wonderful time. You got to go and go do you. Now, I will be honest and tell you that the Rodri contract situation is kind of messing with my head because I think I'm maybe a little bit more critical of him recently than maybe I should be, but I don't feel like he's been great and it's been frustrating for me. And so maybe that's just because he hasn't signed a contract. Maybe I'm being unfair. Maybe he's just not back from, his injury. I don't know which one it is, but I do find myself having concerns. But Pat, I don't know if you can go back to that comment that was put in. I'm trying to see who put it in, but it was about the fact that if Phil Foden wasn't an academy kid, so Cade Hargreaves put it in. It was 6:59 p.m. But Cade says if Foden wasn't from the academy and wasn't a City fan, he would have been hounded out by City fans. Now, let me preface this by saying I don't want any player hounded out by City fans, right? I hope that as a City fan collectively, I hope that we get behind whoever's in our team, right? If they wear that blue shirt, we should be backing them. That being said, I do believe there is something to this comment. I think he's going to get a contract because he's from the academy and because he's a City fan. But I don't know why Phil is special. Because when Rico Lewis goes out and doesn't perform...
He's trying to trigger me.
No, I'm not trying to trigger you. And that's why I said I don't want anybody to be hounded out, any player. But if we can criticize Rico Lewis, who is an academy kid and who has come through our academy, why is Phil special? And I asked the same question the other night. Why can we criticize everybody on the team, or we can talk about performances? I don't want to talk about players, but we can talk about performances for everybody on the pitch except for Donnarumma, or except for, in this case, Phil. I don't think that should be the case. Every player should be open to honest scrutiny, and every player is going to have bad games. Now, again, I'm not suggesting that we should be running Phil out of the team or running him out and really like killing the kid. I'm not saying we should do that. As a matter of fact, I don't want us to. That's the exact opposite of what I want. But I want to have an honest conversation. I want to have an honest conversation and say, Phil, you've not been good, bro. You got to show.
Yeah, but Tariq, the issue is that every time you have a conversation about Phil Foden, it's about selling him. And
again, I'm not saying we should sell him, but we have to be honest and say he's not been good. And he doesn't. Right now, he does not deserve to play. His on-pitch performance has not earned him the right to be on the pitch, and that's okay to say.
I don't think he was bad tonight in terms of Tariq. I think his role's changed.
Yeah,
that's making him.
And that we have to question the manager on.
Yeah, that is where I will question Pat. Yeah. I'm not saying Phil Foden's pulling trees up. I'm not saying he's not against criticism. 100% agree with you on that. But you just said between him and Rico. Well,
no,
you look at this. You look at the TV, Tariq. You look at the TV, Tariq.
Hold on. I'm struggling to hear you. The fact about Rico not being in the squad has nothing to do with my comment. The fact of the matter is, Rico, when he does play, if he doesn't perform, nobody says, "Oh, we can't say anything about Rico." Nobody protects him like that.
Nobody's rating yet because Rico, with all fairness to Rico, hasn't got anywhere near the awards or performances Phil Foden has.
Fair.
Yeah, Rico is never young player of the season.
That's like
fair. But that's why all the more reason why I should have expectations for Phil that I don't have for Rico, because Rico's never shown me that he can be best player in the world.
That's the wrong question, Tariq. And my question is, why is no one asking why his role's changed?
That's fair. That's fair that his roles
changed gradually over his time in the first team. Anyway, when he came in for the first couple of seasons, he was a midfielder who was always forced to play out on the left and occasionally on the right.
Yeah,
and then when he finally gets into the midfield in the 10 role, that's when he starts to flourish. Yeah. But then all of a sudden he has a drop off, and now all of a sudden we're expecting him to start playing in deeper roles.
Yeah.
So
why do you think one of the best attacking players to play in That's the question.
But is he playing in a deeper role because there's somebody better in the role that he was playing? If you're asking me who is the better 10, and I don't necessarily suggest that Phil's role should be a 10. But if you ask me who's the better 10, as far as a creative force, now there's different styles of 10, so that's whatever. Let's preface that with that. But I would preferably I would have Cherky in that 10 before I had Phil in that 10. So again, as the squad changes, his role has had to change in order to get on the pitch.
No, and that's anybody else. But the only thing I would say to counter that, and there's two things here, and one of them probably is a little bit biased, and I'm sorry to say that, but it is. And I'll explain myself in a minute. But it was Darsh who pointed me to a quote on this from about 18 months ago. Is that Pep did say in a press conference, and I remember it was pre or post, that he saw Phil Foden's role to become deeper. He just said, when he used to say he's not got the attributes to play the ball safe and play the ball at the correct time and things like that. That was all to do with that quote. The plan was 18 months ago to long-term move him into this Bernardo role sort of thing, which you've got to get less G&A, because Bernardo Silva isn't a G&A guy from that role. You don't get a lot of goal-scoring eights and assisted eights. They come more from other people and other areas. And the other side of it is, Tariq, I know this will go down. This isn't at you, by the way. This will go down. I presume we've just had a raid off LB. The numbers
we did.
Yeah.
So big up the LB Raiders. People aren't going to like this. The academy thing is a big thing in the UK to fans. And I know that might be unfair. It may be biased. Look at Arsenal fans with Saka. Saka's had one goal in 12 months, and they protect him and he's just got a brand new contract. Rashford was at United and was protected. It is a UK match-going thing. I'm sorry, it is, and that's not a dig saying you're not from Manchester.
No,
I'm not saying
that way.
Like that. It is a thing over here of we look after the kids who come through the academy.
And I think we should, right? So let me
with one PFA player of the year, he's won the amount of awards he's won.
Yeah, I think we should value his academy status. And again, to be clear to everybody, I love Phil Foden, right? But I just don't think he should be clear of any questioning or being able to have
immune from
honest.
criticism,
he shouldn't be immune from fair criticism. Now, there's some people that are going over the top. That's not right. We're not talking about over the top.
I think he's been one of the most criticized players this season.
Yes, because we know how good he can be, and he hasn't been that player in 2 years or 18 months.
Yeah, I'll stop because I don't want it to feel like I'm criticizing or attacking Phil, because that's not what I'm trying to do.
Mate, I've said, because we can criticize, I just, when you're doing it in the correct way, you're asking a question, we're breaking it down in a constructive manner. What I don't want to do is that he's shit, get out of the football club, sell him.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that either, and that's why I'm going to stop, because I don't want anyone to take it there.
That's stupid, because there isn't any analysis in that. I want to do it in a more, and I'm not saying you're doing it in the correct way for me to read. Has Phil Foden been great? No. I'm not sure. I put it down to, I don't think he was bad tonight. I don't think he was great tonight.
Yeah,
But I'm sorry.
And that's a sign of a
average
player who hasn't been
performance.
playing regularly either.
Do you know what annoys me, Terry? And people have to forget. People are going to laugh at me here when I say this. And they're going to say it's excuse FC. But he's also been playing with a broken hand for the last 4 or 5 weeks. Everyone
broken hand. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Or wrist. It's hand or wrist or whichever one he broke. Which everyone totally forgot about. Which I understand is probably sounds an excuse and whatever else. So it should, for me, it shouldn't have been that role where he's got a bit more physical. Like, shouldn't be in that role. Yeah. But my issue tonight is it's not Foden was poor or good. There was far worse players on that pitch tonight, and no one said anything. Erling Haaland was 10 times worse than Phil Foden tonight.
Yep.
No one says a dicky bird. Not a dicky bird.
Hey, I'm willing to say who was bad. I didn't think we were doing that on this show, but
no. I don't mean it in that way. I'm using it as an example of people directly go to Phil. And I know this for a fact. There are people, and I've spoke to people who are fans who are not local, and they say part of the Phil Foden thing that does annoy them is they feel the match-going fans especially protect him. And that's why I'm saying maybe that's wrong, but that's just a UK match-going thing.
It's an English football thing.
It's
protect the boyhood.
Yeah, I think there is.
Steven Gerrard never won a Premier League, and yet all Liverpool fans will say he's the greatest midfielder in the Premier League era.
Yeah. Mikhail Saka scores one goal,
and rightfully so.
One goal.
That's just part of the football culture.
Is it one goal in 12 months?
Yeah.
And he's just got a brand new 300 grand a week contract to Arsenal. And all of them celebrated it. If Foden gets that contract now, there'll be a meltdown.
Yeah, I want to say that, at least for me, I appreciate those kids that have come through the academy. I appreciate when the crowd is singing, "He's one of our own." You know, I love that, and that's why I appreciate all those kids that have come through there. Again, we're seeing the same thing with Nico O'Reilly. Again, there's value to having those kids that have worn that shirt as kids all the way up, right? So I definitely, I don't take anything away from it, and I think there is a certain amount of there's a little bonus for those academy kids, right? That maybe other people don't get. So I understand that completely, and I agree with it.
I think they've got to earn it.
Sorry, Mark, just quickly, Teal comparing Gerrard to Foden. I'm not comparing Gerrard to Foden. I'm using context in terms of how well they're protected by their respective fan bases because they came through the academy ranks. But you can do
Pat, because Phil Foden's helped us win a league. Steven Gerrard's helped Liverpool come.
No, I'm talking about in context. I'm talking about in context
of how he's seen by the
protected by their respective fan bases. Each to their own. They did what they did at their club, but I'm not talking about whether one's better than the other.
Yeah, fair.
Listen,
just quickly, man, just wanted to pause because we've got some super chats, by the way, too. So just quickly, City of Angels with the $1.99. If O'Reilly misses another Prem game, league done. I wouldn't go that far, mate, but I did feel like we missed him a little bit today. But yeah, each their own. And Global Mosaic, that's Sir Daniele. Thank you very much for the $10. Speedy recovery. Take care of yourself, Martin. As I told Ups about the in-between. Yep, all good.
No, appreciate that. I mean, I say the other side of the coin is, like I said, is do we expect Phil Foden to come back to his best at some point? Yes. Is it probably taking longer than we expected? 100%. People have given up. I think what's happened is there's less patience now. Like, we know, people have already given up on Reinders. Some have given up on Nico J. And Reinders has been here, 7 months? But some people have given up on him. The trouble is, I don't want to get into a scenario where every 6-7 months we are going to the market to replace a new signing. Because that then is the Man United and Chelsea way. And that tells me then the board haven't got a long-term plan. Then it is scattergun. And that worries me.
Panic buying.
That worries me.
You mentioned
I think
Bernardo.
the opposite. Why not use these players? Why are we benching them all? We bought all these players. Use them. They're not going to get better from the bench.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think some of them were wanted by Pep.
Interesting.
Well,
That's interesting. And then so
we
as
just
Pep
spent all
as the
this money
manager,
for nothing.
yeah.
Great planning.
You can't
Doesn't
make
sound
the
like good
manager play who he doesn't
synergy
wanna
though.
play.
If the manager
Yeah.
doesn't want the certain players,
Yeah.
the director of football buys, that doesn't sound like a well-run.
I'll put it this way:
club.
I don't think Mamouche was a Pep signing. I've never thought Mamouche was a Pep signing.
I mean, I
There's
think
even talks
Marmouche
of
was.
maybe there's even talks of Semenyo wasn't a Pep signing.
Wasn't that like the goodbye present for from Tiki or something?
I don't know, but I feel like it was. We were in a bad way.
That's what I heard, but I could be
Yeah, I'm not gonna. We always
had to
talk
do
about
something.
a dynamic between a sporting director and a manager, and even though a manager might not want a player, the sporting director has to do good by the club. And I'm not. I understand people are looking long term, but in the situation we're in, all those players played a part in us getting top 4. So I'm not going to say, now that, they didn't have a purpose. Maybe the purpose of where we forecasted that player is not on the same page as what we thought beforehand. And
Things change.
Things do change. The league changes. And I get what Martin's saying about techie players, but if you got all these bunch of techie players and all the rest of the teams
hold
in
on,
the
Pat.
league,
Hold on. See, this is why I didn't want to have this conversation, because that comment is unnecessary. Even if that's your opinion, you just don't have to go there. You don't need to see it. You don't need to see it.
He's calling Foden a name. He's calling.
Yeah, you
Foden.
don't need to see it. But again, that's why it's hard. People want to have honest conversations in real conversations and be able to say a player's not been great. But when we have the extremes, that that makes a conversation difficult to have. And so if you want to be able to have honest conversations on this channel or any channel, let's step back from the extremes, the far rights, the far lefts, the far he's so wonderful, he's so poor. No, there's reality in the middle. Let's have an honest conversation that doesn't divulge down
creating
to
like an identity politics.
Let's not divulge down to, they're just horrible people, horrible players, horrible. No, they might be in a bad run of form, and if they were in a good run of form, we'd be loving them up. The reality is somewhere in the middle, right? They're footballers. They have ups, they have downs. They're people. They have ups and they have downs. Let's not do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the problem. I mean, I've already seen. I'm not going to say it, but I've heard people call Foden a tram driver now and other things. And it like you said, it gets personal, it gets silly, because I think what's happened is, and I'm going to say it, I don't care anymore. But maybe I've had some sense not to intimacy.
That's the meds talking. That's the meds talking. You do care. You do care.
No, I do and I don't. But because do you know what it is, Tariq? For me, is people are not going to be happy unless you are winning. Let's be straight. 2 weeks ago last week against Leeds, we were battling, winning. It was a sign of champions. It was everything we were happy with. Yeah. We draw today, and everyone's gone back to Pep out, Foden out, him out, and this is emotional football fans. This is what we do.
Yeah.
Now,
and imagine what will happen if we win
conversation.
3-0 at the Bernabeu. This whole thing will be forgotten.
Yeah, I'll say we're having this conversation after a tough. It wasn't a loss, but it feels like a loss. To your point, Pat, if we have this after a win, we're going to be much more jovial. And so again, we have to recognize that. Yeah.
This is the problem, and everyone's reactionary, and everyone flip-flops all over the gaff. Because 3 days ago we were unbeaten in like 9 or 10 games. We'd won 9 or 10 of them in all comps, and we were flying. And it's all happy and sweetness and lights. You don't win today, and everyone's gone back to the other side of the extreme. And this is why people have not liked the way we've run the channel in the last few weeks. Wasn't that? It was we wanted to have grown-up, analytical debates where we can talk about this, but without, like you just said, Tariq and Coaster and everyone else, without the extremeness of just get them out, sell them like this. They're just pieces of meat that you can just get rid of. Because I've seen all this. We saw all this with Cole Palmer, by the way. Oh, just get him out. He's not good enough. And then 6 months later, everyone wants him back. Morgan Rogers, he's crap. He's not good enough. The same will be Hardy Foster Bob. shone up at Fulham. The same will be had you sell a Foden and he goes to a top club and performs there. We should never have sold him. And this is what happens. People just go from A to Z very quickly because it's about the title. When you are winning, you are happy, your emotions are on the high, nothing goes wrong. Now we're in a little bit of a situation we've not been in 10 years, and people have hit the panic button. And trust me now, I'm sorry, this is maybe my old head coming on here, but you sell Rodri, Foden, Nico Gino, and Bernardo, when you let all them go, you're in for an even rougher year next year. Because if you think that Elliot Anderson, you're starting right back from zero again. Because everyone thinks get Diaz on, get Kushinoff in, get him out, get him in. Because that they think it's just an instant thing. It's like they say, get rid of Pep.
They're playing FIFA.
Yeah, get rid of Pep and bring someone else in. Why you still got the same players? You're still managing in the same league. Nothing's going to change overnight. I don't know. I think I get a little bit confused by emotions and grown-up talk. And that's not a dig at anyone, but we want to have honest conversations, not emotional stuff.
Yeah. Another super chat here, Martin, too, by the way. Daniele again. With $4.99. Big up, mate. Thank you very much. It's coaching stubbornness and arrogance. They're giving him enough. Use what you have. You did at Barcelona. Pep's gotten spoiled.
I agree with that. I mean, Danielle, I don't always agree. I don't think the answer cannot be always go back to market, always go back to market, always go back to market. Then you have become FIFA, and then you have become Man United and Chelsea. This was United's mistake. They kept going back to market. They kept thinking, get him in, him out, him in, him out. And a player doesn't settle doing that. I just think that's the wrong way to go. We think the answer is at the bottom of a transfer window, then we have bigger problems than what we realised.
Peter says it here. It's so reactionary online football. Excessively reactionary.
Fair.
You know, but it's like the Savio one at the end. I mean, everyone's Savio's crap. Well, let's put you in that situation. You're in a crowded box. You've got 6-7 players around you, and you've got a split instinct to hit the ball. And he's hit the guy on the line. I love everyone goes, well, he should have put it 5 yards to the other side of the keeper. You don't know until you're in that situation. Anyone who's played football knows you can't just guess where you're putting the ball. They need to go back and look at that chance. It was a crowded penalty spot. Severino just had to instinctively hit the thing. It was just unfortunate. It was at the guy on the line.
Also, he's not really the guy you rely on, unfortunately. He scored one Premier League goal for us, so I wasn't really excited.
And I'm going to say something else that people are like, I don't think Doku did anything when he came on, but he's coming back from injury.
Doku did not.
You know,
that's our wingers don't score goals. That's why we went and bought Semenyo. Because
the Doku we know just came back from injury. It's a desperation play by Pep. You know, hey, we need help. Somebody go bail us out. Put difference makers on, regardless of what form they're in, regardless of whatever. Somebody go bail us out because we're about to lose this match, or we're about to drop points, and we should be in that position.
You know, I was listening. I didn't go to the end to my chance to follow people. There were some people who went, "Why did Foden not come off?" So Foden came off.
Yeah.
Foden was the first sub off. People have. That's why I've said I don't think everyone watches the game fully.
I think they're blaming him for the Anderson goal because he didn't close him down. But then, is that his job? Because he.
But I've seen some people playing Diaz. I've seen others playing Donnarumma. Do you know what? Sometimes it's like the Morgan Gibbs White. Everyone keeps saying he was right. Well, I thought he was great second half.
He was.
Sorry, I said this earlier on Kelsey's show. I think there is a snobbery against English players.
Yeah, there is. But I kind of, like I said, I think when you match up the two midfields, like I kind of expected the two of them to do better based on what we lined up with. So,
all right. More super chats just coming as well too. Mr. Perfecto with the 10 Aussie. Big up yourself, mate. Anyone thinks City only won FFP versus UEFA due to time bar is an idiot. Unsub for football terrorist due to brain dead agendas. I have faith in Pep today. Sucks, but so do Arsenal.
Yeah. Tune in tomorrow on that. That's what the lads are going to talk about.
Yes, Thursday night chats will be about City hate as an illness.
Yes.
And also got another donation of $2 from City of Angel Citizens. Built midfield around O'Reilly, Anderson, Cherky. It's possible, but we'll just have to wait and see what the summer brings. What were your thoughts on Elliot Anderson, Martin? Besides the goal,
I thought he was very good. The second half, first
you
half,
can see why he's top of the league in terms of duels won, because he's always there battling against.
I thought City demolished him first half. I thought City were the better team in the first half. Again, we're back to the second half conundrum. Yeah. Saying that, City could have been 2 or 3 clear by the time Forest equalised. What we've got to do is that ball in has got to be cut out from source. That ball shouldn't have been allowed to go in, and the guy shouldn't have been allowed. I can't remember it was. Shouldn't have been allowed to get the free header at the back stick.
Yeah. Well, remember the low cross from Semenyo before the end of the half. It's like Ruben Dias could have put that away. Haaland could have put that away. It was just.
I thought Haaland was poor today, but here's my other thing. We've got to make a decision on Haaland, because against Newcastle, he was phenomenal for his work rate and everything he did.
Yeah.
He did everything but score. But tonight, he sort of, are we after a striker who does work rate? He did help
create the space, though, for Semenyo to score the first goal, though.
That's what I mean. Are we trying to, what is it we want from these players? I think we're all confused at what we're asking from these players.
Yeah, there's just no consistency, I think. I mean, the players haven't been consistent. I think the system has been inconsistent. We've had the only thing that's been consistent is we've had poor second halves most of the season. So I think the reality of the situation is that we are in a transition, and I think because Arsenal have just been so not good that maybe we deluded ourselves into thinking we were in a title race. But I think we're further off it than we think we are, because we are so inconsistent. We keep dropping points in the second half of games continually. That has not been addressed. And maybe we just aren't as good as we think we are. And, we have to remember we are rebuilding. We're trying to figure out the system with the new players. It's not going to click overnight. We've had runs, and then it's been figured out. The
rebuild's going to take longer with the amount of people.
We just haven't. We're learning in real time that we need different players, and maybe we also forget that we also changed our sporting director, and that transition has taken a while too. I think his first window he started working was last January. So that was a window that he was still working with Tiki. I think Tiki was still doing some stuff in the summertime. I'm not 100% sure how that worked out. So January might have just been the first time that Viana was really completely solo with absolutely no help. And I think he was bang on in January. He brought 2 players in that we desperately needed, 2 profiles we needed. And so it's going to take time from the sporting director situation. It's going to take time from the players, and it's also going to take time in the manager. And maybe some more coaching needs to be happening. We just spent 2 weeks having vacation. Maybe some of that could have been spent with some players who haven't been here. Instead of sending them on holiday, maybe some of those players should have stayed. Send the guys who know the system already, send them on holiday. That's fine. They, whatever. But I don't know. I think we're inconsistent, and that's just, it's frustrating. It's frustrating as fans. I think we see the names on the paper and we expect us to just be perfect. And the reality is we're just not. And, we just have to watch, and hopefully we'll get better and we'll find some consistency, but maybe we are missing some players in the market. Let's take the time the rest of the season to figure that out, and then try to do that this summer and try to get ready for next season type thing. That's all we can really do. We just keep trying, and maybe something will work. I don't know. We'll see. But go get that Carabao Cup. I think we get definitely capable of that. That would be awesome.
I need to drop. You all have a great rest of the evening. Appreciate your chat.
Big up,
no, thanks, Tariq. I think we'll probably wrap it up.
By the way,
minutes
go and give Tariq Peterson a lot of love. Them subs for him. and
Shades of Blue, Shades of Blue podcast. Maybe make sure you give them a like and subscribe, and shout out to the boys there. Yep, doing a great job.
All right, later.
See you, mate.
Obituary. Well, we have dropped a lot of careless points this season that, if we were in a title race, we dropped to that terrible Spurs team. We lost, but we dropped 5 points to that awful Spurs team. We gagged twice against Brighton. We just lost, we just bottled a game against Nottingham Forest. These are not good teams. And those are teams in the past that we just wouldn't have. I don't think we would have dropped points. Well, Spurs, that's its own thing. Never mind. Forget the Spurs point, but that's just something we're just not used to. And maybe that is part of the process. That part of this rebuild is some of these players just have not been in those situations, and they're learning the hard way. So maybe that's just something that we weren't expecting.
This is what
it was a nice season.
The players that have been in that situation, we're all waiting to get rid of.
I know, but now these players have had some experience, facing those adverse situations, and hopefully they'll learn from it. But you can't just keep hanging on to players forever and ever and ever. But some of them are still young, and I don't know why you'd get rid of them. I don't know why you'd get rid of Foden, but still, at the same time, you have to let players learn, and they learn. Sometimes they learn by failing, and maybe that's what we're seeing this season. Is we're seeing players who will be here long term failing this season. Maybe they won't fail next season.
But we're not allowed to fail. This is the problem, Kelsey. Fans won't allow us to fail.
Well, they don't. Well, tough tacos. We did fail. We have failed.
These trophies are bust. I mean, I've seen some people just say the Carabao Cup. It is a nothing situation. To me, it's a cup's a cup. Yeah. I want to get the winning fever.
If you have that, that's the same mentality as Arsenal fans, because they just binned off domestic cups for
I
years
don't
and
want to
years
start
and years. And just
bigger fish to fry, bollocks.
No,
what's this bigger fish to fry, bollocks?
All day. I'm taking it, man.
It's
I'm
crazy.
I'm hoping players have learned. I'm hoping Turkey learned a lesson today and is better, the next time he faces that. Maybe it takes a few games of that to get used to it. I'm hoping that, but I want him to be one out there. And if he fails, he fails. But I'm hoping he'll learn a lesson from that. And so I want him out there in those situations. I would like to see Johnny Rangers out there in those situations. Players who are going to be here long term. I want them to face these adverse situations, and if they fail, then that's the game. But I want them to try. I want them to experience that, and I'm hoping they learn a lesson from it and can get better from it. But sometimes you win by winning, but sometimes you get better by failing.
Because every time we drop points, it's the same names that come up that want to sell and they want to get rid of. It's Ruben Diaz, Phil Foden. Someone said Rodri's come to the end. People want to get. It's like you want to. Bernardo can go. It's like we're going right back to the beginning again. If you want a team of 21 and 22-year-olds, great, fine. But then you're going to have to get used to having a little bit of pain for a bit and allowing, like Chelsea, you'll have good times. You'll have some bad times, because that's what young players do. They learn and they develop. But people aren't patient now. They want to win yesterday. They want to win tomorrow.
Sorry, I'll wait till you're done. But even if we do lose some of those names, I still think we have a core of very experienced players. And I would not be getting rid of Diaz. I don't know why anybody would suggest that. I don't think that's a discussion for this year, at least. Maybe a couple years down the line, but not right now. He's an experienced player. If Rodri stays, he's an experienced player. But I think Erling Haaland's a very experienced player. He's been doing it at a top level for a club and country since he was a teenager. That's a lot of experience you can rely on. Phil Foden has won 6 titles. That's a lot of experience right there. I think Joško Vardiol, a very experienced player. He's very young, but he won a title with us. He's won cups with RB Leipzig. He's had a lot of success being a starter for his international team since he was a teenager. That to me is a very experienced player. Jeremy Doku won a title with us. Mateus Nunes won a title with us. That to me, I think that when you say that we're just going to get rid of all the experienced players and just have nothing left, I'm not sure. I don't completely agree with that. I mean, I do to a degree.
This title's not over.
More of experienced players that have done it with us.
Call me delusional. This title's not over. We only need Arsenal to drop points in one of their games, and then we're right back to where we
Yeah,
were.
but we need to do goal difference
second
too. Yeah, goal
Second they
difference.
drop any points,
Our
their
attack
meltdown
doesn't look
will be their
very good
meltdown will
right
be worse than ours multiplied.
I'm not saying we don't have to win all our games, but we win all our games and Arsenal drop somewhere, the title is still ours. Now, yes, that's harder said than done. And I know I'm probably living on cloud cuckoo. Arsenal were not great tonight.
No,
they haven't been great for a long time, but they keep winning.
So,
and we have when we're not great, we constantly get punished. So there is a difference there, and we're running out of time to for us to get better. I just don't think we're consistently getting better. And they keep, and as bad as they are, they keep winning, and so it is very frustrating, and it's hard to really see the light.
I want to get that. Listen, if Arsenal win it, they deserve it, and we'll move on. You know, I congratulate them, and we move on. It's in their hands. It's fully in their hands.
Yeah,
and we have to say, listen, we have to.
I mean, God forbid the quality of the Premier League's fallen off a fucking cliff, but yeah, okay. When long throwing own goals and set pieces is the only thing that can get you a league title these days, God.
we still have a lot to fight for, and I know a week from now we'll reassess that, but I still think with a rotated squad on Saturday, or I don't know if it's Saturday or Sunday, I think this will be another chance for players who maybe be on the fringe to step up and show the fans, show Pep, why aren't you playing me? So we'll see there, and. UCL, there's still a lot. I'm just saying, there's still a lot to play for. I know we're kind of down right now, but we just have to ride the waves of being a football fan and see where we are. In a couple, I'll say in a month's time, I think we'll know a lot about the squad.
Yeah. Again, but just keep getting. I think we have a gem in Nico O'Reilly. Just keep playing him the rest of the season, man. Once he's healthy, let somebody out. If we have lows, I want him to experience it. I think he'll become a better player out of it. And just I'm hoping more players on the team. Ryan Turkey, Nico O'Reilly. These are players who I see as long-term players on this team. And the more experience we can get them, even if it's not winning, get them used to the battle, get them used to it, and I think it'll just help us long-term. These are good players. We have a good team. They haven't figured it out yet, and. Maybe that's going to take this season into the next season, but it's no reason to give up. I'm obviously still going to back them, and I'll be watching every game. And I'm just excited to see what they can develop into. And the club's not going to end just because we don't win the title. If we don't, if we don't, I'll still be here. I'll still be watching, and maybe I'll rant here and there. But it'll still, it's just part of being a football fan. The ranting and the bantering and all that stuff, but we do. I mean, I don't think we're that far off. It's just we're still in that phase sometimes to click can just take a lot longer, and we do have I think we're just underestimating how many new players we have. What was it? I think it was the Salford Cup game. You looked at that squad and you're like, oh, Phil Foden was one of the Phil Foden and I think Nico Gonzalez were the two longest serving players on that 11 or something, and I was just like, what? That was crazy. So, it just takes time, and sometimes it's frustrating.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, I know some Arsenal fans in the chat crying about the drop-off in the league. Well, listen, when you're at the top, you're there to be shot at. Manchester City were known as a boring league. We were turning it into a farmers' league. The Premier League had gone down. The Premier League... City were boring to watch. Liverpool were the most exciting team in the world, which you can remember. Liverpool fans and the footballing world were petitioning that Liverpool got a Premier League trophy for being the most exciting to watch. I think some Arsenal fans have got short memories. City have had everything said about them what Arsenal are getting said now. That's just what happens when you're at the top. When you're at the top, you're there to be shot at. And people will say stuff. People said United were boring. People said City were boring. Death by 1,000 passes. It's boring to watch. So, yeah, let's stop the sensitivity thing. You're at the top. You're deserving to be at the top at the moment. It is what it is. But if you're after validation and respect, you don't get that. Teams at the top don't get respect. When you're at the top, you're there to be shot at. Stop trying to beg for something that nobody else has ever got.
And with that, I think we'll wrap it up. It's been a trying day for a lot of us.
I'm going to go.
I guess the only good thing is we are playing every 3 days now, so we don't have to sit on this for that long.
Yes, we will forget about this if we get a good result at St. James's Park. I know, Kel, yeah, and hopefully something at the Bernabeu. But, yeah, Martin,
I'll be back next week.
Back next week. Thursday night chat tomorrow, obviously. Yeah, well, Ozzy and Rich will be hosting that. And, yeah, the topic is City hate. It's an illness, I believe. There it is.
I'll try and get back
disease.
for Sunday. I'll try and get back for Sunday post-match.
And then, yeah, so we're looking at Sunday for post-match.
Yeah, I will be wearing a hat because you don't want to see my head.
Yep.
You're gonna wear some sunglasses too.
So you're finally on board with the rest of us, mate.
Yeah.
No, easy.
We should all wear hats in solidarity.
Yeah. Kel, you got anything coming up on True City Fan? You need a plug or anything like that?
Oh, Strasbourg, Steve and I are going to do yet another City Newcastle preview, our 5th of the season. Tired of playing
domestic Real Madrid.
Oh, we're also doing another Real Madrid preview with a Real Madrid fan named Sam. Yeah. He's going to come on Monday. We have a watch along for the game on Saturday. I've heard some rumblings from other people who contribute to that channel. There may be an emergency stream coming up soon. Don't take the rage bait. Your life's better if you don't. Just saying. Right. If that's not your style, that's okay. We have other streams. We have other chiller ones, but there might be a crying stream coming up. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Ed,
we'll see.
Ed, you're going to be on for Thursday night chat. Yeah, I'm sure you have a few things to say about City hate being a disease.
Yeah, man. Thursday, then we got Friday. Are we on Martin with Are we doing Lore Brothers Friday?
Yeah, you got anything going on with Baz?
No. It's next week.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, right. Thursday night chat will be there.
Cool. And just one more thing too, I'll put this up as well for Dash as well with his the Teen Cancer charity donations as well too. I think I just saw Dash put a comment up. He's up to about 250 or 300 pounds, somewhere around that too. So fantastic work you're doing there, mate. And of course, yeah, anybody who wants to donate, just scan that QR code. I will leave that up there for a few more seconds if anybody wants to donate to that. It is much appreciated. Yeah, I think I've got the link here as well too. Yeah, so and that's the link there as well too. So if you wanted to contribute to that, it's much appreciated, and we appreciate all the work you're doing there as well, Dash. So we'll leave it at that. Obviously not the result we want, but you know, this league is far from over. And as I mentioned before, maybe just a bit of a diversion away from the Premier League over the next few days with FA Cup and Champions League. And hopefully our guys can come back bigger and better than ever. So I'll leave it at that. Martin, Kel, Ed, Tariq and Rajak, big thanks for your contributions as well. Obviously, they had to bounce a bit earlier, but let's leave it at that. And hopefully our performance at Newcastle will leave our thoughts and our emotions in the dust anyway. So with that, signing off. Thanks, everybody, for contributing, and always and forever up the Blues. Keep the faith. Come on, Setsi.
Carabao Cup.